it's heartbreaking to see that there are people across the country who are without energy and without electricity. They've got no heating. They're cold. There's old people. There's young people. There's people with children, with babies, and they've got no electricity because the system is fragile. And I thought I'd do this live stream because there's a lot of people out there who just do not understand. They do not understand the infrastructure. They do not understand the fragility of how energy gets from one place to another. It only takes a storm like Storm Arwen to create this wake-up call where people start to realise, and you don't know it until it hits you personally. A lot of people just don't understand, because we've all grown up. We've all grown up in. I'm not saying we've grown up wealthy or rich. We haven't. We've all been in poverty, but things can get worse if we don't do something about it. The government is talking, keeps on investing money in wind turbines, but wind turbines only work when the wind is blowing, and there's not enough investment in the infrastructure that can give us energy, which needs to be portable. Actually, we need a portable system, because the problem with the grid is that cables blow down. And when the cables blow down, you have large swathes of the countryside without energy, without power. These high voltage cables, now a lot of people don't understand this. You can't just bury these high voltage cables easily, because you're talking about millions of volts, or 30,000 volts, or I'd have to go and look at the stats, we can go and look it up. But high voltage cables have to be insulated, and the way they usually do it is to run it on the top of tall towers from one place to another, and then it comes to a transformer, then it's stepped down to a lower voltage, which is the voltage that we use in our homes, which is, in England, it's 240 or 230 volts. So whenever you bring a cable near the ground, there's leakage and there's losses, and there's a huge amount of power is arced out. You can do that just by walking through the countryside with a fluorescent tube. Actually, if you're standing under them power cables and you hold a fluorescent tube up into the air, it will light up because of the amount of power that's leaking away. So that's part of the reason why they actually put the cables on tops of these towers instead of burying them, because of the amount of power that would be lost if they was to bury them. They'd have to have massive amounts of insulation on these cables. So for some years now, you would have to watch nearly all of my videos, because every so often I have commented in some of my videos that we were going to be facing the crisis that we're in now, where we will have power blackouts, and this is happening now. I've also told people, now some of this is from ESP, because I do have sensory perception, extrasensory perception, but that doesn't matter. It was also predicted in by other scientists that we were going to reach something like this point where we were going to have an energy crisis, because the infrastructure is crumbling around us. You don't have to look very far. The workforce is disappearing, and we're actually getting more workforce from abroad, from overseas. The migrants are coming over, and there's many people who are skilled in this kind of work. So we're seeing doctors, nurses from overseas come in. I'm not against any of that. That's all good. It helps the country. It helps in a certain degree. But there's also the other side of the coin, which I'm not going to go into right now. But you don't need me to tell you about that. I'm talking about the illegal migrants, the ones who are causing problems. But there's not many people out there doing anything. We've all become we've all gone into this state of apathy, of giving up. Many people have gone into, I don't mean everyone, but many people have given up. They've just succumbed to this deep depression state, the state of mind where they just don't feel like there's any hope, or that there's any way, anything they can do to fix the problems. it's happening globally. It's happening everywhere. It's not just in England. It's not just in this country. It's everywhere. It's the depression, the dark side, whatever you want to call it. It's fear. It's being pushed everywhere, and people have to turn their backs on this propaganda. You've got to start being positive. Start looking to see about solutions. Don't give up. Just keep trying. I'm just one little person. I'm just one little person who's trying to do my little bit. I used to run a business fixing hi-fi, electrical, TVs at hi-fi, all this stuff back in the 90s. And obviously when that repair business side collapsed because it was uneconomical to repair anything, people just buying cheap goods. And that in itself has undermined the some of the infrastructure where we had the capabilities to do repairs, because there's not as much repairing going on now. It's all disposable. Everything ends up in landfill. We just buy something, if it goes wrong we throw it in the landfill, it gets thrown away and we get a new one. But not everybody can afford that, and a lot of us can't afford that. And I recycle as much as possible, and I would hope that most people would try to do that, but most people can't do that, because let's face it, you can't get stuff repaired. You don't know anyone who can repair it, or you can't afford to get it repaired. This is the problem. It's usually cheaper to buy new. But energy is the baseline. It's where it all starts. Your toaster, your microwave, your cooker, your mobile phone, your hi-fi, electric vehicle, all of that stuff is junk if you can't power it, if you don't have energy to power it. You have to understand, energy is crucial to keep our lives running normally now. We used to live in tents, we used to live in caves in the prehistoric days, or just going to cowboy days, whatever. We used to live in little wooden shacks, and we used to have coal fires. We used to have the different method, I can't say the word, but used to have a different system. It was more sustainable back then. You just cut some trees down, you have firewood, you have a fire, you cook your food. We don't have that anymore because it's been forbidden because of the green CO2 emissions. So we're stuck. We have electricity and gas is the only thing we have right now. Different types of gas, obviously. But ultimately, electricity is what powers just about everything, and we have to find a solution. And if people don't try, and if we don't try to help the system, then I just don't want to think about what's going to happen tomorrow, because it's getting pretty bleak right now. I mean, it's starting. The cables have... Apparently a whole swathe of cables, high voltage cables, have come down, and it's going to take them until Christmas to repair these cables. That is months or weeks without energy, right through Christmas. And I posted my fundraising thing on Nextdoor app. I actually got a response. Somebody actually put an unhappy face on my post, and I'm thinking, what is wrong? Don't you understand what I'm trying to do? I'm trying to help people, and there are people out there that can help me to help other people, and if they don't want to help me help other people, then that's it. I'm giving up, because it's your choice. You've decided to take that path. It's not my fault. I've done my bit. I've tried. I mean, if people aren't going to see the bigger picture here, it's not my short-sightedness. I've already told people about this energy crisis in several videos over the last 7 years. I've posted the occasional comment about how we're going to have problems when the energy cuts, the power cuts start happening, and they're happening now. You'll have to watch all my videos to come across them, because I can't remember which videos I put it in, but it's in there somewhere. But it's happening. So all I can do is do what I can, and I'm not being paid for anything. Everything that I've done, I have not been paid for anything. It's been out my own pocket, and at the point now where I just can't afford to do it anymore, and it's no skin off my nose. I've done my bit. I have tried, and if people can't help on this cause, then it's not my fault. I have tried, so I don't know what else to say really. I think people have given up. I think people have they just don't have the foresight to understand where we're going if we don't fix this problem, because it has to be fixed. And there are corporations that don't give a damn. Some of these people just live on the private islands. They've got their own energy generators. They've got their own power sources. They don't care either. They'll just disappear and go and live on an island somewhere while the rest of us freeze our balls off, basically. And that's what's going to happen. And we're heading into a dystopic society, and people can't see it. And maybe they've just committed themselves to a way of life of total despair. I don't know. It's like that movie. There was a movie where this lady commits suicide. It was I can't think of the title right now. What Dreams May Come. That's it. What Dreams May Come, with Robin Williams. His wife just gives up. She commits suicide. She basically ends up in hell, and Robin Williams has to go and find her and rescue her and bring her back into heaven. And that seems to be a good analogy for the state of this, where we are right now in the real world, because we are sinking, and people can't see it. They keep thinking things are going to get better, but they're not going to get better if we don't make things better. So I've said my piece, and I'm sorry. I've done what I can, and I am. If people aren't going to support my cause, then that's it. I'm done.